Hi guys, this is Luke Havard from lukehavard.com, and today I want to talk to you about how you can own your story. Now, I wrote a blog post a number of days ago about how, I've been able to get to where I've got to through the power of my own story. Because basically, growing up, I wasn't that academic and I wasn't very successful in school, so I had to figure out pretty quickly what it was that I could sell myself with, So today I want to talk to you about how most people don't know how to sell themselves. They don't have any power in their story. And quite frankly, it's all conceptual what they've done in their life. So for instance, you can find a lot of people they've done quite well, academically. They've got great education, great qualifications, yet they just still don't really believe that they're worthy of greatness, that they're worthy of even averageness, to be honest. And, my story basically was different. Because like I said, I didn't have the piece of paper to begin with. I didn't have something to flash at people and say, hey, look what I've done, look what I've achieved. All I had was life experience to begin with. My life experience was pretty impressive, actually, but it wasn't, the usual type of experience that people were looking for or perhaps thought I would have to bring. So I had to really look at how I could package it in the best way possible. So let me just explain to you one example of how this worked just incredibly, and it got me some very great results, to be honest. So there was an opportunity for me to do a job interview for an intervention job. Basically, my background is in intervention. I would work with drug addicts and alcoholics and gang members and people basically who needed high-end strategic intervention in their life. That's how I started in this whole coaching game. So anyway, I got this opportunity to have an interview for this company. And previously I'd been living in Australia and I'd ended up doing voluntary work for drug and alcohol rehab. And I'd worked under some of the, in my opinion, some of the best interventionists in the world. Just incredible, watching them just go to work and making such a difference in people's lives without using treatment or any other substances to try to get people off heroin and crack cocaine and crystal meth and, alcohol addiction. Just outstanding. So anyway, I worked under these people and I learned the hard way, just by watching what they did and to kind of understand how to do it. Also, to be honest with you, I'd had previously an addiction myself to alcohol and drugs, so I understood the principles of how you stop taking it and what you need to do. So what happened was I had this experience, but I had no qualifications in it. And I came back to the UK from working in Australia and this job opportunity came up. So I decided to apply for it. So what happened was I kind of freaked out. I thought, oh my goodness, I looked at my CV and I looked at the application and I thought, what the heck do I have to offer these people? One of the minimum requirements was a degree level. And I thought, well, if people have got these qualifications, how am I going to stand out, with them and their qualifications? I'm just going to be nailed to the wall here. However, I spoke to my mentor, and I think this is something that I would tell you straight away. You've got to get a mentor or a coach, somebody who can really sharpen you before you go for an interview or have an opportunity to, say, pitch to people for something you want to do. So anyways, I go to my mentor, and he looks at me, and the first thing he says is, okay, so we do have a bit of a challenge on our hands because this is a high caliber job. But he said, you've got stuff to offer these people. You've got experience, you've got some incredible stories, and that is invaluable. You can't learn some of that stuff in a classroom. And so I thought, okay, that's good. And he said, well, tell me a story. Just tell me a story from when you left school up until this point. So anyway, an hour later, I told my story and he'd been writing it down and just taking notes. And when we looked at it, it was quite incredible, some of the things that I did and I'd done over this time. And I'd just forgotten about it. Or I just kind of said, well, that's, I was a bit blasé about it. I just assumed that other people had had similar experiences. But, according to my mentor who'd worked in a high-end position, he said, that's not the case. Not everybody has had this experience. Not everybody can say that. So you've got an advantage here. And he said, you know what? You're really passionate when you tell your story. You really tell your story well. If we can just refine that and package it properly, I think you're in with a shot. So anyway, we did, and we worked on it. We worked really hard. And also what we did is we looked at, we did our research, we looked at, the information that we'd need to find out about the position, what this company wanted, what they valued, what was important to them. And, you know, we did our homework. So anyway, the day of the interview came, and there I walk into the office and it's full with applicants. And I think, whoa, okay, I've got to, you know, basically compete against all these people. But then I decided, I thought, well, I'm not going to compete. I'm just going to be me. I'm not trying to impress them. I'm just going to be me. And so I centered myself. I sat there and I just got in the zone and I thought, I'm going to do this. And I'm not going to just go without a fight. I'm going to do everything I can to get this job. For me, for no one else. So it came to my turn and I sat in that room and I poured my heart out and I told them I am so passionate about getting this position and I really believe that I can make a difference and I can add great value. So a week passed and a few more weeks passed and I'm waiting on tender hooks to get the call to find out what happened. And basically it turned out that they had so many applicants, it had taken them ages to sift through all the people who went through the interview to find the right people for the job. And they said, look, here's the thing, Luke. We had this one applicant who was just looked incredible on paper. You know, she had a master's degree in this area and she just really was good in the interview too. However, you were also really, really impressive in the interview. And it was just really tough for us to decide, but we decided to go with the other applicant because of the qualifications. And so I kind of thought, okay, well, there you go, it's all said and done. But then the person on the other end of the phone said, however, we couldn't really pass up the opportunity to see what you could do because your experience was just invaluable. And we didn't have other people who had your experience. And the way that you told your story was just so compelling. We were just really impressed by you and we just wanted to see what you could do with that. So we've decided to create another role for you as well. So you both get the same job position and we're going to give you a shot. Now that's when something dawned on me. It dawned on me that, you know what, I'm not the guy with all the qualifications, not at that time. I mean, now I've gone and done a degree and I've set up an international business and I have a wife and a family and, you know, it's incredible where I've come from and where I'm at now. However, you know, the power was in my story. And I owned it with everything I had in that moment. And I've continued to do this throughout my life in every situation, whether I be sat or stood in front of like a board of directors for a global company or speaking to politicians or whoever it might be that I'm working with. And I believe who I am with everything I've got in me. I'm passionate about my life. I'm passionate about making a difference and I know what I can do. And it's not just something conceptual. It's not just up here, it's in my heart. That, for my friends, is what you need to do if you really want to have power, if you really want to have influence in any situation, whether that be an interview, whether that be an opportunity to work with people, whether you're in your own business, whether it be with your kids, your friends, if you're looking to meet a partner or to create a relationship, you need to own your story. You know, people don't buy into you for your weaknesses. They don't buy into you for what you can't do. They buy into you for what you can do, for what you can bring to the table. And people, you know, they're drawn to your confidence. They're drawn to that sense of passion that you have for your own story. It's not about trying to talk about yourself all the time. It's not about being arrogant whatsoever. It's just saying, you know what, this is who I am. This is what I've got, and I love my life. And that is just infectious. People love that, and they're drawn to that because far too many people don't like their life. So, the essence of this video is to say to you, you know, who are you at your core? What have you done in your life? How can you package that? You know, finding out the best parts of your life that have taught you the most, that have given you the most experience. Now go and use that and just refine it and get better at telling your story. You know, the better that you know yourself, the better that you can explain yourself. So you can use this in interviews, in any interaction that you have. And, you know, when you do this, you'll start to be so much more influential and powerful, you will not believe it. I hope this has added value to you. I hope it's inspired you. I'm Luke Havard. I'd love to hear your comments, and we'll speak soon.